I am really enjoying this. This is really cool. So this is my lighter. Man, that smells amazing. I ran into a cougar and I also ran into a Kai wolf. This is my P365X macro with the Icarus Precision grip module. This is the final claw. I haven't had these softshell crabs in so long. These have been so good. So let's make some more. Let's grill up some softshell crabs in the woods, but first, let's get this poncho and tarp set up first. So this is an oilskin poncho from Outback Trading Company. This is completely waterproof and it'll keep me dry. I can actually even wear my backpack underneath it and I can have everything covered. There's these snaps on the sides that snap in and keep me completely covered. But the coolest thing about this is I can convert this into a tarp. There's grommets on the end here so I can tie it off to trees. So let's get started. So this is my quick deploy ridge line. I'm just gonna get this set up. We're gonna get it tied from one tree to the other tree down there. The ridge line goes around the tree. This loop here, I'm gonna pull some string through it, and then you take a piece of stick and you cinch it down like that. So this is one side of the ridge line, and I'll pull it back down to that tree over there. All right, so on this side, so I have it around the tree, the main ridge line here, I'm gonna twist like this, and then I'm gonna fold down on itself and pull up a bite. So now I have a loop right here, like this. I take the other end, I put it through that loop, and then I yank this tight. So what I'm doing here is I'm using this as an anchor point, and I'm making a trucker's hitch, essentially. So pinch here, you drape this over and you pull the string through and over, and there you go. You have it tied down. You have a very tight ridge line. So here's the poncho. We're gonna use it as a tarp. I'm gonna zip up the pockets and then I'm gonna zip up the hoodie. So this looks pretty good. So here's the hood. And then here's the pocket. I have it completely draped over like this. So if it was raining, this is kind of laying flat and down, so rain and water isn't going to be able to get through. There's two grommets on the ends right here where I'm holding. And so what I want to do is I want to put two prusik loops right here on the end to keep this tight and in place. And each of the other four corners has grommets also, where I can tie it off to a tree in each direction to kind of have it lay flat out. All right, so I have my knife here with me. It's the Scorpion by PKS. So just make a loop like this, put it over your ridge line, and you go around several times like this. And you want it to be neat. So as you're pulling it, you need to kind of maneuver it and make it look neat like this. So just like this, kind of tighten it up a little bit more. There you go, and then you've got your prusik loop. So this will allow you to move it if you need to, like this, easily. But when you tug on it, like this, it's tight. See, it doesn't move. And so now I'll actually, because these grommets are so small, I won't be able to do it. So here's what I'll do. I'll undo this. There you go. And now I'll loop it through the hole, and now I'll tie it. There you go. This will work. So I have it like this. Now I can tighten it one end like this, and then we're gonna do the other end also. So there's another way to get this also done. And it's to actually prepare the loops ahead of time. If you have bank line, which is probably thinner and easier to kind of loop through, or you can just use a small piece like this, you pop it through and then you tie a knot. So this is just a tiny knot. So it's just something tiny like this. And then you make a normal prusik loop on the ridge line. I'm gonna go like this 3 times and then pull it through. And so now you might be wondering, how am I going to attach the two of them? And that's quite simple. You just use a stick. So you take the end of the prusik loop, you put it through this loop like this. Now you open up the hole like this, and now you've got an anchor point like that. And now you take the prusik loop and you just pull it tight. And everything is taut now. And it's secure. This is perfect. This is really cool. So both sides are secure. This is not gonna move around at all. And now I'm just gonna tie up the ends, the corners up. So last time I was in the woods, I ran into a cougar. And I also ran into a coy wolf. It was like a coyote wolf hybrid. The coy wolf, it looked like it was tracking and following the cougar. But when I saw the cougar though, I was shocked and I was just freaking out because I had Raven with me. And she was on leash, which was really, really good, because had Raven been out like 20 feet or something, she could have been like hit by the cougar or taken down by the cougar. And so that's what I was afraid of. I had my handgun on me, but it was in my backpack. But now I'm a little bit more cautious and I have it on my hip. And I will show it to you and kind of talk about it in a little bit later on in the video. So stick around and I'll talk a little bit more about my experience with that cougar and what I have learned throughout this entire sort of situation. And so right now, I am very, very cautious. I'm keeping my eyes up and my ears like perked up. So that way, if I hear or see something unusual, I am ready to protect myself. So Outback Trading Company is actually giving away one of these ponchos to one lucky winner. All you need to do to enter their giveaway is to follow them on TikTok and Instagram, and then leave a comment tagging a friend. And then you'll be entered to win this really cool poncho that I am showing off today. So head over to their TikTok and Instagram and give them a follow and leave a comment. There's not a whole lot of options of tying it up on branches, so I think I'm gonna stake down these two sides here to the ground. I'm gonna stake it down right about here, I think. So I have just a piece of wood like this, carve it down to a point, just one side, and I think that should suffice. That should work, just like that. Wrap it around the stick. When staking down, you wanna make sure that you're angled this way towards the tarp, so that way it stays in place and it's anchored. If you have it like this, it'll just pull back out. If you have it straight, it'll pull back out too. So when you're going, you wanna anchor it like at a 45-degree angle towards the tarp. There you go, perfect. And there you go, all done. It looks very, very nice. All right, so I want to do a walk around to show you how cool this thing is. It all set up like this. Here it is from the back. It's all staked down to the ground. And it looks very nice. This would be a perfect emergency shelter because this is a poncho. This is your cover. This is one of the 5 C's of survival, is cover. But being able to convert it into like a tarp like this will allow you to have some shelter in an emergency. This is the hood. I have it zipped up completely right here. And I have it just laying down like this. This is the front pocket. I have it pulled inside out and out. So that way it's not hanging from right here. So this is actually really, really nice. I am really enjoying this. This is really cool. Having this drop down like this, sort of like a wall behind you, is very nice, especially if the wind is blowing. The wind is blowing this way. So I'm still getting wind this way, which is fine. But if the wind kind of blows from back this way, this will catch it. There you go. We got dirt in front of us. We can get a fire started right here. So let's get started. It feels so nice and cozy like this. I really love this. I have a small mat like this so I can put my knees down so my pants don't get all dirty. Got my Uberleben camp stove. I've been using this thing for about 2 years now, maybe close to 3 years. and it's holding up very well. I don't know why, but somebody like cracked a joke and said that I only have a few more uses of this. But this thing is still really sturdy. It's made of stainless steel. This thing has hundreds and thousands of uses still, probably decades of use. There's really nothing wrong with it. It just looks dirty. That's it. There you go. Place it in here, and this is gonna go over the top of it. I'm gonna go collect a bunch of dry wood, and there's plenty of it around here. There's plenty of dry wood up above, like this. All of these dead branches. See? All of this, they snap very readily and easily. All these small, tiny twigs here, these are good for tinder. And then these slightly larger pieces is gonna be good for kindling. And then the larger pieces would be good for fuel. In Dave Canterbury's classes that he teaches basic survivals, he requires you to bring around a 50-gallon bag, like a trash bag. And while you're walking from destination to destination, he has you collecting a bunch of firewood. He calls it smalls. So you're collecting smalls along the way. So the smalls are all the small twigs and stuff that you can collect along the way during your movement in the forest. And you collect it all in the garbage bag. And he requires that you have that large of amount of firewood to get a fire started. And I agree with him when it comes to like a survival situation. You need a lot of wood to get a fire, like a substantial enough fire going, to get you enough coals to keep you warm throughout the night, to be able to use it to cook food, and to use the fire for first aid even, and a bunch of other uses with it. But in my situation here, all I'm doing is just heating up some soft-shell crabs. I don't need that much. All right, there you go. Grab all the tiny twigs here. So I have a ferrocerium rod. We're gonna get the fire started with the ferrocerium rod. I also have a Bic lighter right here. And I always carry a Bic lighter. This is usually my go-to sort of fire starter because a Bic lighter is easy. You get flame immediately, you can get a fire started immediately, opposed to a ferrocerium rod. But I like using it because one, it looks good on camera, and two, it's just good practice to use the ferrocerium rod when I'm out and about anyways, because I always can use a lighter. It's easy, and I also have some material taped to it that will allow me to get a fire started even easier. So this is my lighter. This material here, it's like a waxed paper, and I have it taped around like this, and then I also have 1-inch Gorilla tape just taped around also. Gorilla tape is very good as a fire starter as well, like tinder material. But I have this. Right, so if I really wanted to, all I need to do is just light the piece of paper on fire like that, and I can get a fire started right away. But I'm not doing that today. We're gonna make it a little harder, and I'm gonna get this to light using my ferrocerium rod. That shouldn't be too hard, but what I've noticed is even using this type of paper and using a ferrocerium rod, you're not always successful. And so it's good to practice. You do this so that way when something does occur and you need to use the ferrocerium rod for whatever reason, you'll know why something works and why it might not work. So let's do that. So like I said before, this is the PKS Scorpion. This is the new version or variant of the Scorpion that Dave Canterbury and his team makes. This one here, the handle is like a broomstick handle, like this. See, it's completely rounded, opposed to the original one that has like this sort of divot up like this. And I didn't like it. This is a lot easier to hold and it feels much more comfortable in the hand like this because it's all uniform, you know. It doesn't have any weird bumps or anything like that or anything. This is very simple, basic, and I love it. All right, so Ethereum rod, knife, spine of the knife is very sharp. You go like this and you pull. There you go. Then sheath the knife, put the knife away. Ferrocerium rod, put it away, don't set it down or else you'll lose it. See? The fire is going, but it hasn't caught the wood on fire yet. So this is where building the fire comes into play. You have to have small enough material to catch fire to continue the fire. See? This has stopped now. So now I'm gonna have to get the fire going again. So this is why we practice bushcraft. Practice bushcraft so that when you need to actually get it done, you know how to get it done. So I'm gonna go grab some more kindling, like the small like dry twigs and stuff, so that way it catches fire when I use that paper. All right, this tree right here has plenty of these tiny twigs. And they're super dry too, so this will work. See, this is very dry, incredibly fragile, and you need lots of this stuff. I also have fatwood with me, so I might even use some fatwood. That will catch fire very quickly as long as I carve up some small shavings of it. But sun is gonna set in like an hour or so, so I better hurry now that it's November. Night falls at like 4:30, I think, at least in Minnesota. I know in the southern states you guys get maybe 1 extra hour of daylight, maybe 2 hours, but up here, up north, we get a lot less sunlight. Okay, I definitely need more. You know, I have like a handful like this. I definitely need more, but we're gonna see if we can get this going. Got too many of the bigger twigs up in here. So now we're gonna take smaller twigs and place it in. There you go, that's better. And right here, this is some fat wood that I have. I'm gonna do some shavings first and let it collect right here. Just place it over it like that. Even though the fat wood is very flammable, in this form, it is still not thin enough and still not fine enough for a spark to get this to catch fire. It can catch fire, but it's challenging. Sometimes it just doesn't work. And so having con material or a finer material like this paper here is a good idea to kind of get the spark to catch and to get a fire started, to get a flame started actually. And then once the flame gets started, it'll catch the fat wood and then it'll catch the rest. See, there was a small spark, but it didn't catch anything. There you go. Now, there you go. Put the ferrocerium rod away, put the knife away, put the lighter away. These resources are valuable. You don't want to lose them. And from here, you can pop on Some more twigs here to let it catch. Crisscross it even. But that should be good. We got a fire going. And so these twigs will burn up very, very fast. What I've discovered after using this stove is that once all these smaller twigs burn up, there's not a whole lot left as far as coals go. And so once this burns up completely, you're pretty much done. So the best way to kind of operate this is to actually utilize the flame as the heat source. You're not going to be using coals as heat source in a small like bio stove like this. But if you do want to have coals, must have been a squirrel or something. I heard something. Yeah, like I was saying, if you want to use this and use coals, you'll want to use bigger sticks. So bigger pieces of fuel that will burn down into coals that you can use. So I really wanted to bring Raven along too and kind of have her hang out with me in this area. But because of the cougar and the coy wolf, I decided not to bring her this time. But it would have been a lot of fun, you know. This area is nice. This area is slightly more open. The trees aren't really dense, and I can get this set up and everything very comfortably. And having Raven here would just be a lot more fun. And she kind of can keep watch, because she would be pretty good at identifying like animals or people that might be lingering out there. So there are these snaps on top here. I would have to watch out if like the fire gets too hot. These snaps, these metal snaps might get too hot too. And so I might need to make sure that I'm not touching it. But I think that wouldn't be too much of a problem. Like this is remaining pretty cool to the touch. It's not getting hot really. Okay, so I have a decent bed of coals right now, and the fire is kind of dying off a little bit. I think this is the perfect time to start heating up the softshell crabs. So I have them in here, wrapped up. And I already air fried them, and so they're fully cooked. But all I want to do now is to just heat them back up. So look at them. There they are. I just want to heat them back up. I'm going to go like this. Cover it up a little bit. There you go. You got some ponzu sauce here. I'm gonna pour it over a little bit. Some sriracha. Just a little bit of sesame oil. That was actually a lot more than I was expecting, but it's okay. And a squeeze of Japanese mayo. There you go. You can hear it cooking. Oh man, that smells amazing. So I'm gonna flip it over so it kind of heats up evenly. See, once the flame is out like this, there's not a whole lot left. There's nothing left to kind of continue the fire, because this is such a small fire and the material being used is so small also. Fire doesn't stay lit for very long when it goes out, when the flames go out. But I'm getting some smoke right now, which will add to the flavor of the softshell crabs at least. Oh, there you go. Got the fire going again. So just throwing in small twigs will get it going again. All right, the fire is gonna go out in a little bit here, And this is pretty much done. So we're gonna start eating soon. Just look at this. Oh my God, this is amazing. Oh man, it smells so good. There you go. All right, we're ready. Whew. Oh, it's so hot. All right, here are the soft-shell crabs. Take a look at that. Oh man. Yeah. Oh man. That is so good. Yeah. Cooking it like this over the fire, you get that smokiness. This is so good. Oh man. Okay, I'm gonna grab this one here. This one has all the sauce. Like, look at that. So good. So pretty much what I did was I threw them in the air fryer for about 25 minutes or so at 325 degrees. 10 minutes in, I flipped them and then let them continue cooking. And then I put them in the foil here and I brought them here, and then all I did was just heat them up with all the sauces that you saw me put down. A lot of people ask me about the gills. There's no gills. That piece right here where the butt is been removed too. And the eyes have been removed. The soft shell crabs that I buy them at a place called Restaurant Depot. And they're about $35 a case or so. Or not a case, but $35 like a box. I don't really know how many you get. I think like 5, maybe 10, maybe 13, 15-ish. I don't really know. It kind of also depends on the size that you get. The size that I get is called the Colossal. Or no, it's not the Colossal. I think it's the Jumbo. Yeah, the Jumbo. That is so good. And these soft shell crabs have already been cleaned. They're frozen. So it comes in the box. They're all wrapped up and they're frozen. You thaw them out, and then you will see that there are no gills and stuff. But the thing is, I learned that when a crab molts, it leaves behind its old gills and it grows new gills. And so basically the gills on a soft shell crab is fresh and brand new. So you really don't need to take them out. There's no toxins or anything like that. And you can eat them and they're good. I like them. But sure, still cut off like the butt area or whatever and the eyes if you want. But as far as the gills go, soft shell crabs, they have new gills. I just love the fact that you can eat the entire thing. So here's the last one, actually. Just eat the legs first. Now you got the body and all the meat. So sweet, so good. The sun is setting. It's getting darker. Gotta pack the trash out. That was incredibly satisfying. This has been a lot of fun. Getting all of this set up again, having this, like having this kind of in the back here is kind of blocking the wind. The wind has shifted a little bit. And I feel a little safer too with this like that. Like, it sort of gives me some privacy, you know, so anything behind me, like, can't really see me or see what's going on. And so I get some privacy having it set up like this. And it's just plenty wide enough also. This would be perfect, you know, for a really nice survival shelter. I actually have it widthwise, so I can set up the tarp the other direction so it's longer. And so it'll fill up my entire body, or it'll cover up my entire body if I have it flipped around. Yeah, this is really cool. I really like this. Actually, I have this water with me. Let's actually test out the waterproofness of this tarp. So we already will likely know that it'll just roll off the side here, right? So it'll just bead off and roll off like that. That seems pretty obvious. That's nice. But I'm more curious about the top here and how it will collect in this area. So let's pour it right here in the corner. And look at it, it's just pooling right there. But it's completely dry from underneath. Nothing is coming through from underneath. But it is pooling right there. So for the most part, water is not seeping through. And all you really need to do to get rid of the water is just to go like this. And it'll just bead off. Not bad, not bad at all. So this will definitely keep you protected. If anything, using the other side, using this side as the top part will actually be more ideal. Yeah, it would make sense to have this flipped upwards and then this side be the down part. Yeah, so I actually did it wrong, I feel like. Although this still works, I think this side that's pointed down should be actually the top. And then where the hood and the pocket is, it should be the section that kind of goes down. Yeah. But overall, this has been really, really cool. I like it a lot. So you'll notice right here, the grommet on the end here, I tied it like this, and then I tied it to the tree. I decided on one of the sides right here to just put a knot in. So I put the line through, and then I tied a knot, and the knot was big enough to kind of stop it, and then I tied it. So yeah, there's a lot of different configurations for this, I bet, and you can definitely play around with it to kind of get your best shelter going. So let's take it down and head on home. But before that, let me talk about the gun and the cougar that I encountered. So yeah, I do want to get out of here pretty quickly though, because it is kind of getting cold and the sun is setting. But yeah, last time I was here, I was with Raven. I filmed a few things in the woods. She's running around playing and stuff. She's off leash in the woods. But as we were leaving, I put her on leash so that I can kind of direct her back to the car. Then suddenly this animal just comes out maybe like 15, 20 feet away from me. And it runs across the field for a moment, and then it runs into the woods. And its head was very, very low to the ground. Its movement was very feline-like, but it was massive. Its paws were as big as my hands, just spread out like this. It was massive. And it was just a huge cat, you know? And it was that tan, that really light tan, somewhat brownish orange color. It had no dark brown like coloration to it at all. Because at first, for a split second, I thought it was like a deer or something, but its head was really low, it moved differently, and it was just a big cat, you know? And so I was like, holy crap, that freaked me out. And the thing is too, it was the size of a deer. Like it was so big. It was so massive. It was like the size of a full-size grown like buck or something. It was huge. It ran into the woods. It was very quiet too. And then Raven was very scent motivated at that time. For some reason, she was really scent motivated. And normally in that area, she's very familiar with it, so she's not really scent motivated. But that day, she was really like going around and she didn't see anything because she was so focused on the scent that she was picking up. And so I was trying to hold on to my camera while pulling out my phone, see if I can catch anything else. Couldn't find anything, so I was just kind of directing Raven back to the vehicle. And then all of a sudden I turn around and I see this like dog-like animal, and I was like, no way, that's not a dog. And it was massive too. It was just as big. And well, not really. It was slightly smaller than the cougar, but that wolf or dog-like animal, or that canine animal, I since discovered that it was a Kai wolf, and so it's a coyote wolf hybrid, and it was somewhat dark brown, orangish, and tan colored, and it was slightly legs were slightly darker and stuff. I pulled up images of a Kai wolf, and it was exactly what I saw. And I pulled up images of a cougar also, and it was exactly what I saw. And I wasn't really sure at first if it was a cougar or whatever. I just knew it was a lion of some sort. And I thought it was like a mountain lion, but I didn't know if it was a mountain lion or not. But apparently mountain lions and cougars are pretty much the same thing. But I looked it up to see if we have cougars in Minnesota. And apparently there's been 77 sightings in the past couple of decades or something. This would have been 78, but it can't be really confirmed because I didn't have a picture of it or a video of it. They were able to take down information that I saw one, but that's basically it. But I've heard that in a nearby city of mine, there was another sighting, but through a Ring camera or something like that. And then there were other sightings in different like cities nearby also, in the general area, that have seen cougars also. But for the most part, the reports have said that these cougars are male cougars that are going around hunting, and they're just kind of going everywhere. They don't really stay in one place. And so hopefully the cougar isn't in this area anymore, because I always go here to film a lot of my videos, outdoor videos, and like hang out with Raven and stuff in this area. But at the time, right, when I saw the Kai wolf, it was looking for something. It looked like it. It looked like it was tracking the cougar. And it didn't really pay me and Raven attention. It didn't really care about the two of us. And so as I was walking back to the vehicle, that Kai wolf turned back around and I saw it a second time. And so I saw that thing for sure because it was in a completely different area from where I saw the cougar. Because the cougar came in front of me, and then I was walking back home, right? And I was walking towards the cougar where I saw it, basically. But then the Kai wolf was from behind me. And so yeah, that was really scary. I had two different like predators in the same area. And so that was really freaking me out. And I had my gun, right? But it was in my backpack. And so I'm gonna show you now. So I haven't had a whole lot of opportunity to talk about my gun and how it's sort of set up since I made the video about needing a holster for it. And I was looking for a outside waistband or on waistband holster, I think that's what it's called, on waistband holster, opposed to inside waistband holster. So right now, I have a inside waistband holster. So this right here pretty much goes inside of my pants, and this clip here clips onto the outside of my pants. This right here, this piece kind of allows an adjustment to the gun, so that way it sits closer to my body so I don't imprint as much. But yeah, this is my P365X macro with the Icarus Precision grip module. And so the holsters for it is very, very specific. So let me show you. So this is the Icarus Precision grip module. The grip module looks different from the standard grip module. And so you'll notice right here, this piece right here jets out a little bit, right? And it's on both sides. So right here, I would put my thumb right here, and when I'm shooting, I hold my firearm like this, and I have my thumb right here. This mitigates recoil. But when I'm not shooting and stuff, I put my finger right here also. But this is ambidextrous, so like if you shoot with your left hand, you can have your other thumb right here also. But then I also have this right here. This is the TLR 7A Streamlight. And so most holsters kind of form to the light. But the problem is my grip module is different from the standard P365X macro. It's the Icarus Precision. And so this piece right here, like this piece right here, jets out slightly. And so the holster will need to be able to like kind of compensate for that. And I've bought other holsters and it just doesn't work right. And it doesn't fit like smoothly as this does. Right? This goes in and out perfectly, right? There's some resistance because I've done it exactly how I like it, and it's perfect. My only problem is it's the inside waistband sort of holster. I want the on waistband one where like it's called a pancake style. Yeah, the pancake style where it like hooks up onto my belt and everything. And yeah, I like that more because when I'm outside, out and about, right, in the woods, I'd rather have that than this in my pants. Like, it's uncomfortable and I hate it. But I don't know, I still am trying to get the hang of it because people do wear holsters like this, you know, but I don't know. I eventually want to get some sights on it too because it is cut out so that you can put some sights on it. But I mean, right now, I've been using this holster and I like it a lot. It's from Four Brothers, and I reached out to them to see if I can get the pancake style one, and they said that it's going to be like $150 because they got to custom make it. But I might still follow through with it. But right now, this is basically my firearm that I carry most of the time. But yeah. Very, very nice. I have the Hornady Critical Defense rounds, I believe is what they're called. These magazines are 17 rounds plus one more round in the chamber. And yeah, it's very nice. I love it. But yeah, that is it. It is beginning to get dark and I'm getting cold. Gonna get this taken down and head on home. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope to come out here and do more videos like this, or just do more backyard stuff, you know, and kind of do work and just kind of work on bushcraft stuff again. I've got a whole lot of projects that I want to get done in the shed and around the shed too. I really, really need to put in a door in the back side of the shed. And so I want to see if I can get that accomplished soon. And so yeah, the weather has been decent, you know, it's been around in the 50s, and I want to take this time to actually do stuff and get things done before winter hits. And so I gotta get things going. So appreciate you watching, and I'll see you next time. All right, peace out. And it packs away and folds up very nicely too, just like a tarp. The coals are put out. Kick the leaves over. I was never here. No one knew that I was here. There you go. Let's go.